In your consumer news this morning, scammers have stolen more than $1 billion through Zelle, and now New York is fighting back. Attorney General Letitia James is suing Zelle's parent company, Early Warning Services. The lawsuit claims the company knew for years that Zelle's features made fraud easy, but failed to add safety measures. Early Warnings is owned by major banks, including JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Capital One, and Wells Fargo. The suit seeks money for victims and demands Zelle install anti-fraud protections. If your teen is heading to college or starting their first job, it's time to build their financial foundation. The first step is to discuss who pays for rent, textbooks, meals, and entertainment. CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger has more tips for success.
What we want to do is have the kids really start to say, what's all the income that is coming in? I have a work study if I'm in college, maybe I have part-time income. If I've got my first job out there in the labor force, how much am I earning? And track what you are spending. That is a habit that is adaptable and can really change as you get older.
Apps like Rocket Money can help track your spending or just a simple spreadsheet. When it comes to the economy, many Americans are wondering when the Federal Reserve will lower interest rates. Jen Sullivan explains what the Fed looks at when adjusting those rates.
Interest rates impact the cost to borrow money for things like a mortgage, car payments, even credit card debt. Fed rates have remained between 4.25 and 4.5% since December of last year. The Federal Reserve will announce on September 17th whether we'll see any changes to those rates. So what does the Fed look at when considering lowering rates? One report is the Consumer Price Index, which measures the change in price for a variety of goods each month.
The CPI is a measure of inflation that is really most relevant to consumers.
Greg McBride with Bankrate says the CPI is just one of many reports the Federal Reserve looks at when considering lowering interest rates. This latest CPI report, released Tuesday, shows inflation ticked up 0.2% in July, and overall, inflation is up 2.7% from a year ago.
This could be the calm before the storm.
The Federal Reserve also looks at unemployment numbers and overall economic growth. Many financial experts like McBride worry President Donald Trump's tariffs could make inflation worse.
I'm bracing for a series of elevated inflation readings.
Many businesses loaded up their warehouses with pre-tariffed goods, so experts fear we haven't seen the full impact of those tariffs on prices.
It might take a few more months before those fully make their way to the consumer, and as a result, I expect inflation is going to pick up.
McBride says it's too early to tell whether the Fed will lower rates in September. They'll look at August CPI report and the next jobs report. But if inflation goes up, a rate cut may not happen.